For decades, Europe has operated under a certain security paradigm, one where it relied heavily on the United States. America served as its security shield, a guarantor of peace and stability on the continent. This arrangement became deeply ingrained in the European psyche. The United States played a pivotal role in shaping defense policies and mindsets across the continent, influencing everything from military spending to strategic planning. The Cold War cemented this dynamic, solidifying America's position as the primary defender of Europe against Soviet expansion. American troops stood guard against Soviet threats, a constant reminder of the US commitment to European security. Their presence was a symbol of deterrence and reassurance. But now the American commitment is wavering, a shift that has sent ripples of concern throughout Europe. The long-standing security blanket is being pulled away. Washington's gaze is shifting toward the Pacific, driven by rising tensions in Asia and the need to counter China's growing influence. Europe is no longer the sole focus of American foreign policy. European leaders sense a growing vacuum, a void left by the receding American presence. They are grappling with the implications of a less engaged United States. This vacuum is felt most acutely at the heart of their security, forcing them to confront uncomfortable questions about their own capabilities and preparedness. Into this uncertainty, a new player is emerging, hesitantly but deliberately. Germany, long a reluctant military power burdened by its history, is stepping forward to fill the void. Berlin's Zeitenwende, or turning point, a term coined to describe this fundamental shift in German foreign policy, marks a dramatic shift in its approach to defense and security. This includes significant defense spending, a commitment to modernizing its armed forces and investing in new military technologies. It also entails a new strategic outlook, a willingness to take on greater responsibility for European security and to project power beyond its borders, and a willingness to lead, to take the initiative in addressing the security challenges facing Europe. The nation that once symbolized division, a divided Germany at the heart of the Cold War, is now being pushed, by circumstance and necessity, toward continental leadership. This transformation is both dramatic, a radical departure from Germany's post-war foreign policy, and fraught with challenges, both internal and external. Can Germany, after decades of military restraint and a deep-seated pacifist sentiment within its population, truly become Europe's new security anchor, a reliable and capable defender of the continent? The implications are immense, reshaping the geopolitical landscape of Europe and beyond. This shift has profound implications for Germany, Europe, and the transatlantic alliance, testing the bonds that have held them together for so long. Europe's security architecture is being redrawn, a new map is being drafted, and Germany finds itself holding the pen, wielding significant influence over the future of European defense. The stakes could not be higher, with the security and stability of the continent hanging in the balance. As a new chapter begins, the world watches with anticipation and trepidation. The continent watches, holding its breath, wondering what the future holds. A sense of unease has settled over Europe, a continent grappling with questions about the future of its security and its relationship with its most powerful ally. Europe's anxiety about American reliability is rooted in shifting US politics. The rise of populist movements, the increasing polarization of the political landscape, and the unpredictable nature of American foreign policy have all contributed to a growing sense of uncertainty in European capitals and strategic priorities. The United States, once seen as the unwavering guarantor of European security, is now increasingly focused on challenges elsewhere. America First rhetoric, a sentiment that resonated with a significant portion of the American electorate, and a pivot to Asia, driven by the rise of China and the growing importance of the Indo-Pacific region, have made European allies question, perhaps for the first time in decades, the durability of US commitments. Are the promises of mutual defense still ironclad? Can Europe truly rely on the United States in a crisis? The Pacific now commands Washington's attention, with its strategic importance and economic opportunities drawing American resources and diplomatic efforts eastward, raising fears that Europe could be left behind in a crisis. What if a conflict erupts on the continent? Would the United States be willing and able to respond as quickly and decisively as it once did? Inconsistent US support for NATO, the cornerstone of European security for over 70 years, and European defense, particularly in the face of growing threats from Russia and other actors, has made long-term planning difficult. How can European nations invest in their own security when the future of American involvement remains uncertain? Even the American nuclear umbrella, the ultimate guarantee of European security, once unquestioned, a symbol of unwavering commitment, is now quietly debated. Are European nations truly protected by the American nuclear arsenal, or do they need to develop their own deterrent capabilities? The result? Europe is waking up slowly but surely to the need for greater self-reliance. This means investing in its own military capabilities, strengthening its defense industry, and forging closer security ties among European nations. This isn't anti-Americanism, a rejection of the transatlantic alliance, but a pragmatic response to a changing world. It's about ensuring that Europe can defend itself and its interests, regardless of the shifting priorities of its allies. European nations are realizing with increasing urgency the transatlantic link, while vital, a cornerstone of the post-war order, may no longer be enough. Europe needs to be able to stand on its own 2 feet, to take responsibility for its own security, and to project its influence on the world stage. The era of automatic American intervention is fading. The world is becoming more multipolar, and Europe needs to adapt to this new reality. Europe must chart a more autonomous path, one that allows it to protect its interests and values in an increasingly uncertain world. The question is no longer if, but how. How can Europe build a stronger, more unified defense? How can it forge closer security ties with its neighbors? And how can it ensure that it remains a relevant and influential player in the 21st century? Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022 sent shockwaves across the globe. The unprovoked act of aggression shattered the existing security architecture and forced many nations to reassess their defense strategies. It shattered Germany's long-held post-Cold War illusions of a peaceful and stable European order. The conflict served as a stark reminder that peace cannot be taken for granted. In response, Chancellor Olaf Scholz delivered his landmark Zeitenwende speech, a turning point address that acknowledged the urgent need for a fundamental shift in Germany's foreign and security policy. It marked a historic break with decades of restraint and signaled a new era of German engagement on the world stage. Germany pledged to significantly boost its defense spending, committing to meet the NATO target of 2% of GDP. This injection of funds aimed to modernize the Bundeswehr and enhance its operational capabilities. The nation also committed to taking a more assertive and proactive security role, both within Europe and globally, actively contributing to collective defense efforts. For decades, Germany's military had been chronically underfunded, leading to outdated equipment and a diminished capacity to respond to emerging threats. The focus had been on restraint and prioritizing economic interests over military strength, a legacy of its post-war history. Now Berlin is fundamentally rethinking its place and responsibilities in a rapidly changing global landscape. The country is grappling with how to navigate a more dangerous world characterized by rising geopolitical tensions and the resurgence of great power competition. Allies, especially those in Eastern Europe who feel most threatened by Russian aggression, have largely welcomed the shift in German policy. However, at home, reactions to the Zeitenwende have been mixed, reflecting a deep-seated ambivalence towards military power within German society. Some Germans worry about the potential dangers of increased militarization and the erosion of the country's pacifist traditions. Still others doubt the government's long-term resolve to fully implement the Zeitenwende, questioning whether the necessary resources and political will can be sustained. But regardless of the internal debates, the Rubicon has been crossed, and there is no turning back to the pre-2022 status quo. Germany is now firmly embarked on a new course, one that will require significant investment, strategic planning, and a fundamental shift in mindset. The nation is actively redefining its role not only within Europe, but also in the broader international arena, seeking to contribute to global security and stability. The Zeitenwende is not just a matter of policy adjustments or increased defense spending. It represents a profound shift in Germany's strategic culture. It's a national reckoning with its past, its present responsibilities, and its future role in a world facing unprecedented challenges. The world is watching closely to see if Germany can deliver on its promises and effectively translate its newfound commitment into tangible action. The stakes are nothing less than the future of European security and the credibility of the transatlantic alliance in the face of growing global instability. Germany's Zeitenwende comes with a €100 billion fund to modernize its military. Years of underinvestment left the Bundeswehr with outdated equipment and shortages. New F-35 jets, helicopters and advanced vehicles are on order, aiming to transform Germany's forces. But money alone isn't enough. Bureaucratic hurdles, slow procurement and a struggle to attract talent threaten progress. The Bundeswehr must become not just better equipped, but more agile and appealing to a new generation. Skeptics question whether Germany's defense industry can keep up. The real test will be sustained political will and effective reform. Germany is racing against time as security threats mount. The ambition is clear, but the path is steep. Success will require more than just spending. It demands a cultural shift. Germany's new defense posture is most visible in NATO. Berlin is stepping up, taking leadership roles and stationing a permanent combat brigade in Lithuania, a historic first since World War II. This deployment reassures allies and signals deterrence to adversaries. German jets patrol Baltic skies. Its navy bolsters security in the North Atlantic. Germany is also driving initiatives like the European Sky Shield, aiming for a coordinated air and missile defense. These moves are reshaping perceptions. Germany is no longer just an economic giant, but a key military player. Allies welcome this shift, but expectations are high. Berlin must now deliver on its promises consistently and credibly. The spotlight on German leadership within NATO has never been brighter. The alliance is watching closely. Germany's military resurgence stirs old anxieties across Europe. For some, memories of the past make a powerful German military unsettling, even as it's welcomed for collective defense. Berlin must reassure neighbors that its strength is embedded in NATO and the EU, not wielded alone. At home, pacifist traditions and skepticism about militarization persist. The Zeitenwende challenges these norms, but public debate continues. Germany emphasizes its buildup is defensive and multilateral. Success depends on managing both external fears and internal doubts. Trust, transparency, and restraint are essential as Germany redefines its role. Despite bold plans, doubts remain about Germany's ability to fill the gap left by a less engaged US. The €100 billion fund may not be enough for lasting transformation. Bureaucratic inertia and personnel shortages persist. The US provides capabilities like intelligence and logistics that Germany alone can't match. Most analysts agree. Germany can't replace the US as Europe's security guarantor. The real path forward is Germany leading a coalition of European nations not acting alone. European security is a shared burden. Germany's efforts are crucial, but collective action is essential. The future depends on unity, not just German strength. Germany's reawakening is part of a continent-wide shift in defense. The war in Ukraine has spurred rising military budgets and new urgency across Europe. Finland and Sweden joining NATO marks a dramatic change in the security landscape. European defense cooperation is deepening, with Germany often at the center. Initiatives like the European Sky Shield and joint procurement are gaining momentum. The goal, a more cohesive, autonomous European defense, with Germany as a key driver. NATO remains vital, but Europe is building capacity for independent action. Germany could become the linchpin of a stronger European pillar within NATO. The challenge is to balance sovereignty, unity, and readiness for a new era. Germany stands at a crossroads, embracing a leading security role out of necessity and responsibility. The Zeitenwende is underway, but obstacles remain. Transforming the Bundeswehr, sustaining political will, and managing historical sensitivities. The security challenges are immense, and Germany cannot act alone. The real test will be whether Germany and its European partners can build a truly collective defense. European unity is more crucial than ever. Can Germany become Europe's security anchor, or will the continent face new risks as America steps back? The answer will be written in the years ahead, shaped by choices in Berlin and across Europe. Germany holds the pen as Europe's security map is redrawn. The world is watching and waiting.